The universe operates without regard for fairness. Regardless of how truthful you are, someone will deceive you. Regardless of how proficient you become, someone less competent will assume your position. This is the nature of existence. Yet those who comprehend this nature, they endure. And those who endure, they govern. This is an influence you cannot perceive, but everyone senses it. This is shadowed intellect. Shadowed intellect emerges when individuals experience betrayal, humiliation, and defeat. Others collapse under the weight, but you construct fortitude from that suffering. It is the variety of intellect that listens, observes, remains silent, and strikes at the flawless instant. While others dispute, you accumulate intelligence. While they become furious, you compute. While they sink in sentiment, you design the future. The majority engage in a simple game. You are on the verge of discovering how to engage in a complex game. However, before we plunge profoundly, permit me to be absolutely transparent. This understanding is for safeguarding, not for annihilation. Employ it to shield yourself, not to injure blameless individuals. The objective is to comprehend the contest, not to transform into the antagonist. Today, you will uncover the 8 psychological characteristics that divide the enduring from the afflicted, commanders from adherents, victors from the vanquished. Now, I desire you to place this declaration in the commentary section. I elect to be tactically astute, not emotionally impulsive. Now, let us disclose the mysteries that influential individuals do not wish for you to comprehend. Number 1. Deliberate vagueness. You are never entirely lucid concerning your aims. You display solely what is essential. When individuals are aware of half the narrative, they complete the omissions with their own speculation. And that speculation, it dominates them. Machiavelli once stated, "Everyone observes what you seem to be. Few encounter what you truly are." Contemplate the most captivating individuals you are acquainted with. They never disclose everything to you. They create voids in their accounts. They respond to inquiries with further inquiries. They smile when you anticipate them to elucidate. This is not concerning falsehood. This is concerning tactical interaction. This is what transpires in the majority of dialogues. An individual poses you a question, and you sense compelled to furnish them with a comprehensive response. You clarify your motivations, your anxieties, your schemes. You believe you are being sincere and establishing trust, but you are genuinely relinquishing your authority. Astute individuals comprehend that enigma generates sway. When you do not disclose everything, individuals grow inquisitive. Inquisitiveness results in engagement. Engagement results in esteem, and esteem results in sway. Suppose an individual inquires regarding your weekend intentions. The majority state, "Oh, I am merely remaining at home, perhaps viewing some films." That is absolute clarity, but it is also entirely unmemorable. Alternatively, you could state, "I possess something significant to attend to," then alter the topic. Perceive the difference. The initial response renders you foreseeable. The subsequent response renders you fascinating. This does not signify being impolite or clandestine concerning everything. It signifies being discerning regarding what you disclose and when you disclose it. The most accomplished individuals in any discipline command this principle. They reveal merely sufficient to keep individuals absorbed, but never sufficient to forfeit their benefit. Your intellect is your value. Do not expend it entirely at once. When you practice deliberate vagueness, individuals commence devoting greater attention to what you express because they realize you do not express everything. Your expressions bear greater significance because they are uncommon. Recall, The objective is not to be enigmatic for the purpose of being enigmatic. The objective is to preserve control over your narrative and your associations. Number 2. Adjustable character. You are not the identical individual with everyone. You modify your disposition according to whom you are conversing with. Individuals believe they comprehend you, but they solely comprehend one iteration of you. Machiavelli once stated, "A ruler should ensure that he never permits anything to escape from his lips that is not abundant with the 5 attributes referenced previously, that he may seem to him who observes and hears him entirely compassionate, loyal, humane, honorable, and devout." This is not concerning being artificial. This is concerning being efficacious. You already perform this instinctively. You communicate differently to your grandparent than you do to your companions. You conduct yourself differently in a professional evaluation than you do at a celebration. You present diverse facets of your disposition in diverse circumstances. Adjustable character adopts this inherent propensity and renders it purposeful. Every individual you encounter possesses distinct principles, distinct interaction methods, and distinct manners of processing intelligence. If you employ the identical method with everyone, you will bond with certain individuals and entirely overlook others. Astute individuals scrutinize the individual they are conversing with and modify their interaction correspondingly. Are they analytical? Provide them with facts and information. Are they sentimental? Connect with their sentiments. Are they pragmatic? Demonstrate to them how something functions. Are they expansive thinkers? Illustrate the vision. This is not manipulation. This is interaction intellect. Contemplate water. Water assumes the contour of whichever vessel it occupies. However, it never relinquishes its fundamental attributes. It remains water, whether it is within a cup, a container, or a lake. Your adjustable character operates identically. You modify your presentation to accommodate the circumstance, but you never relinquish your fundamental values and doctrines. The error the majority commit is presuming they must be genuine in the identical manner with everyone. Yet authenticity does not signify being indistinguishable in every circumstance. It signifies being authentically yourself while adapting your manifestation to be most efficacious. When you command adjustable character, you become an individual who can connect with anyone. Individuals sense comprehension when they are with you because you are articulating their dialect. This aptitude becomes remarkably potent in discussions, leadership circumstances, and constructing associations. You are not attempting to coerce individuals to comprehend you. You are facilitating their connection with you. Yet here is the caution. Never adapt to such an extent that you forfeit yourself. Your principles, your integrity, your fundamental doctrines should never alter. Solely your presentation should adapt. The most resilient individuals resemble gemstones. They possess numerous aspects, but they remain a single solid entity. Number 3, the doctrine of disengagement. You are not a servant to any association, sentiment, or viewpoint. What you are not apprehensive to forfeit cannot dominate you. What cannot restrain you cannot manipulate you either. Machiavelli once stated, "Since affection and dread can scarcely coexist, if we must choose between them, it is considerably more secure to be dreaded than cherished." Disengagement is likely the most misunderstood notion in shadowed intellect. Individuals presume it signifies being frigid or indifferent. It does not. It signifies being liberated. The majority are dominated by their attachments. They are apprehensive to forfeit their occupation, so they tolerate poor treatment. They are apprehensive to forfeit an association, so they compromise their principles.
They are apprehensive to forfeit endorsement, so they articulate what individuals desire to hear instead of what requires articulation. Dread of forfeiture renders you feeble. Liberation from that dread renders you potent. This does not signify you should not value anything. It signifies you should not be desperate concerning anything. Envision this. Two individuals are discussing a commercial arrangement. Individual A genuinely requires this arrangement to succeed. They are relying on it. They have already formulated schemes predicated on it occurring. Individual B would appreciate the arrangement to succeed, but they possess alternative possibilities. They are prepared to withdraw if the conditions are not appropriate. Who do you suppose possesses greater authority in that discussion? Individual B, evidently, because they are not attached to the conclusion. They can discuss from potency.
Disengagement provides you with lucidity. When you are not sentimentally dedicated to being correct, you can perceive circumstances more distinctly. When you are not desperate for endorsement, you can formulate superior determinations. When you are not apprehensive of being solitary, you can select superior associations. The paradox is this: the less you require something, the more probable you are to obtain it. Contemplate self-assured individuals. They are not self-assured because everything consistently proceeds their manner. They are self-assured because they realize they will be acceptable even if matters do not proceed their manner. That is the authority of disengagement. Now, this does not signify being reckless or apathetic. You should still labor diligently for your objectives and value the individuals in your existence. But you should never be so attached to any conclusion that you forfeit your capacity to contemplate distinctly and act tactically. Disengagement also shields you from manipulation. When an individual attempts to intimidate you by removing something you are not apprehensive to forfeit, their intimidation possesses no authority. The most hazardous individual in any space is the one who possesses nothing to forfeit. Yet the most potent individual in any space is the one who possesses everything to acquire and nothing to dread. Practice this progressively. Commence with minor matters. Do not be so attached to prevailing in every dispute. Do not be so attached to being favored by everyone. Do not be so attached to your schemes functioning precisely as you envisioned. As you cultivate this aptitude, you will detect something intriguing. Individuals commence treating you with greater regard. They perceive that you cannot be effortlessly dominated, and that demands regard. Recall, disengagement is not concerning not valuing. It is concerning valuing without being dominated by that valuation. Number 4. Noiseless advantage. You do not implement pressure directly, you await. When individuals commit errors and become susceptible, your noiseless existence becomes the most substantial impact in the space. Machiavelli once stated, "Never was anything magnificent accomplished without peril." The majority presume authority is audible. They presume it is concerning elevating your tone, issuing demands, and imposing your volition upon others. That is amateur duration. Genuine authority murmurs. Noiseless advantage is the craft of generating sway without articulating a word. It is concerning positioning yourself so that your mere existence modifies the dynamic of any circumstance. This is how it functions. Instead of instructing individuals what to perform, you generate circumstances where they instinctively desire to perform what benefits you. Instead of demanding regard, you render yourself vital. Instead of contending for authority, you induce individuals to bestow it upon you voluntarily. Let us analyze this with functional illustrations. In dialogues, noiseless advantage signifies comprehending when to intermit. The majority are uneasy with quiet, so they occupy it with expressions. Frequently, those expressions disclose more than they planned to share. When you are at ease with quiet, you command the cadence of the dialogue. Next instant, an individual poses you a challenging inquiry. Do not respond instantly. Intermit. Observe them contemplatively.
Permit the quiet to extend for a few instants, then furnish your response. Observe how it modifies the significance of your rejoinder. In discussions, noiseless advantage signifies possessing alternatives that you do not require to reference. When the other individual realizes you possess selections, they discuss differently. You do not have to intimidate to withdraw. Your readiness to withdraw is sufficient. In associations, noiseless advantage signifies being the individual who contributes value without requesting acknowledgement. When you consistently enhance other individuals' existences, they instinctively desire to retain you nearby. You do not have to demand allegiance, you acquire it through your deeds. In professional environments, noiseless advantage signifies becoming the individual everyone approaches for resolutions. You do not proclaim that you are the problem solver. You merely resolve problems consistently until everyone realizes they can depend on you.
The essential to noiseless advantage is endurance. You are not pursuing immediate outcomes, you are constructing enduring sway. The majority desire immediate satisfaction. They desire to perceive immediate outcomes from their endeavors. Yet noiseless advantage functions differently. You sow seeds and await for them to develop. You make investments and await for them to yield returns. This necessitates a distinct mentality. You must be at ease with postponed satisfaction. You must trust that your consistent deeds will ultimately generate the sway you are pursuing. What transpires when you command noiseless advantage? Individuals commence approaching you for counsel without you providing it. They commence pursuing your endorsement without you demanding it. They commence following your guidance without you requesting them to. You become the noiseless force that molds conclusions without anyone realizing it is transpiring. Yet there is a significant ethical deliberation here. Noiseless advantage should never be employed to manipulate individuals into performing actions that injure them. The objective is to generate mutually beneficial circumstances where everyone gains. The most ethical application of noiseless advantage is to sway individuals towards superior determinations for themselves and others. You are not deceiving them, you are directing them toward conclusions that serve everyone's optimal interests. Recall, noiseless advantage is not inert. You are still executing action, you are still executing maneuvers. You are merely performing it quietly and tactically instead of audibly and obviously. Number 5. Mental resonance. You reflect individuals' profoundest necessities and anxieties back to them. They believe you are articulating their dialect, yet genuinely you are acquiring comprehension and sway. Machiavelli once stated, "Individuals evaluate generally more by the vision than by the hand, for everyone can perceive and few can sense. Everyone observes what you seem to be, few genuinely comprehend what you are." Mental resonance is concerning becoming a mirror that reflects back what individuals require to perceive and hear. This is not concerning deception, it is concerning profound comprehension and tactical interaction. Individuals do not acquire commodities, services, or concepts. They acquire resolutions to their dilemmas and satisfaction of their aspirations. When you can recognize and reflect back their genuine necessities, you become remarkably precious to them. The majority are inadequate at this because they are excessively concentrated on what they desire to express instead of what the other individual requires to hear. Permit me to elucidate how mental resonance functions in practice. Initially, you must become an apprentice of human nature. You must comprehend that everyone you encounter is conveying invisible burdens, concealed desires, and unexpressed anxieties. Your responsibility is to listen for indications regarding what those might be. When an individual discusses their occupation, they are not merely sharing intelligence, they are disclosing how they perceive themselves, what they esteem, and what they are concerned about. When an individual discusses their associations, they are demonstrating to you their sentimental patterns and their profoundest necessities. The majority listen to respond. You must listen to comprehend. Here is a functional structure. Every individual you encounter is posing 3 noiseless inquiries.
Do you perceive me? Do you comprehend me? Do you value me? When you can affirm yes to all three of those inquiries through your expressions and deeds, you generate a potent connection. The mental resonance method involves reflecting back not merely what individuals express, but what they signify. You listen for the sentiment behind the expressions, the necessity behind the grievance, the anxiety behind the anger. For illustration, if an individual states, "I despise my occupation," the majority might respond with guidance regarding finding a new occupation. Yet if you listen more profoundly, you might perceive that they genuinely sense unappreciated, unchallenged, or uncertain regarding their future. A mental resonance rejoinder might be, "It seems you are not sensing esteemed for your contributions," or "It appears you are prepared for something that challenges you more." Perceive the difference. Instead of leaping to resolutions, you are reflecting back their sentimental experience. This induces individuals to sense comprehended, which generates confidence and sway.
The essential is to reflect back the constructive iteration of what they are expressing. If an individual is complaining regarding being inundated, you might reflect back their commitment and elevated benchmarks. If an individual is expressing irritation regarding a circumstance, you might reflect back their desire for excellence. This method functions because individuals possess a profound mental necessity to sense comprehended. When you demonstrate that you genuinely perceive them, they automatically trust you more and value your opinions more significantly. Yet here is where it becomes genuinely potent. Once you comprehend someone's fundamental necessities and anxieties, you can position your concepts, recommendations, and requests in expressions that instinctively appeal to them. If an individual values security, you present your concepts in expressions of safety and stability. If an individual values acknowledgement, you present your concepts in expressions of accomplishment and recognition. If an individual values liberty, you present your concepts in expressions of autonomy and selection. You are not modifying your message, you are modifying how you present your message to correspond with their mental profile. This is remarkably potent in leadership, commerce, parenting, and associations. When individuals sense like you comprehend them at a profound level, they automatically trust you more and value your opinions more significantly. The ethical manner to employ mental resonance is to genuinely value comprehending individuals and assisting them to obtain what they require. When you employ this method to serve others' optimal interests, it becomes an instrument for constructing more robust, more significant associations. Number 6. Uncertain ethics. You are neither virtuous nor wicked, you merely accomplish matters. Genuine authority does not consistently arrive in definitive categories. Occasionally, it resides in the ambiguous regions. Machiavelli once stated, "Since it is challenging to unite them together, it is more secure to be dreaded than to be cherished when one of the two must be deficient." This is the most contentious characteristic of shadowed intellect, and it is the one that becomes misinterpreted the most. Therefore, permit me to be exceedingly lucid regarding what this signifies and what it does not signify. Uncertain ethics does not signify possessing no morals. It does not signify performing whatever you desire, irrespective of consequences. It does not signify injuring individuals to progress. What it signifies is comprehending that the genuine universe is intricate. Occasionally, performing the correct action in the immediate term results in inferior conclusions in the enduring term. Occasionally, being pleasant facilitates negative conduct. Occasionally, safeguarding individuals necessitates formulating determinations that are not attractive. Here is the actuality. Pure ethical lucidity is an extravagance that the majority cannot manage when they are managing intricate circumstances involving genuine consequences. Permit me to furnish you some illustrations to demonstrate this notion. Envision you are in a leadership position and you uncover that a team member has been persistently deceiving clients and harming associations. The pleasant action might be to provide them another opportunity, furnish additional instruction, and anticipate they enhance. Yet what regarding the other team members who are laboring sincerely? What regarding the clients who are being deceived? What regarding the enduring wellness of the organization? Someone with uncertain ethics might determine that safeguarding the multitude is more significant than being pleasant to the individual. They might formulate the challenging determination to eliminate that individual from the team, even though it appears severe. This is not brutality, this is pragmatic morality. For illustration, an individual requests your guidance regarding an association that you can perceive is detrimental and ruinous. The considerate action might be to be supportive and refrain from expressing anything unfavorable. Yet someone with uncertain ethics might determine that genuine benevolence necessitates articulating the challenging truth, even if it momentarily injures the individual's sentiments.
The essential principle here is concentrating on conclusions rather than appearances. Occasionally, the action that appears favorable on the surface generates negative outcomes. Occasionally, the action that appears severe on the surface generates superior outcomes for everyone implicated. This necessitates a distinct variety of ethical reasoning. Instead of inquiring what action causes me to appear as a favorable individual, you inquire what action results in the optimal conclusions for the majority of individuals. It also necessitates accepting accountability for the consequences of your determinations, even when those determinations are challenging or unpopular. Yet here is the vital differentiation. Uncertain ethics is not identical to selfishness. You are not performing whatever benefits you at others' cost. You are formulating pragmatic determinations that serve the greater benefit, even when those determinations are individually challenging. This characteristic also involves comprehending that diverse circumstances necessitate diverse responses. The identical action that is incorrect in one context might be essential in another context. For illustration, being entirely truthful might be the appropriate method in an intimate personal association, but it might be counterproductive in specific professional discussions where tactical disclosure is more efficacious. Someone with uncertain ethics comprehends these subtleties and adapts their method accordingly. The peril of this characteristic is that it can be employed to validate selfish or detrimental conduct. That is why it is crucial to preserve lucid ethical guidelines regarding what you will and will not perform, even in intricate circumstances. My recommendation is to establish lucid boundaries for yourself. What are your non-negotiable principles? What boundaries will you never traverse? What conclusions are you prepared to accept accountability for? Within those boundaries, grant yourself authorization to be pragmatic and tactical, even when it signifies formulating determinations that others might not comprehend or endorse. Recall, the objective is not to be favored by everyone. The objective is to be efficacious and ethical in a complex universe where simple responses do not consistently function. Number 7. Regulated disclosure. You do not disclose everything regarding yourself. The less individuals comprehend, the more they presume, and presumptions result in errors that render your tactics simpler. Machiavelli once stated, "Individuals are so simplistic of intellect and so greatly dominated by their immediate necessities that a deceptive individual will consistently locate abundant who are prepared to be deceived." In a universe where individuals share every detail of their existences on societal media, regulated disclosure might appear obsolete, but it is genuinely more potent than ever. When everyone is oversharing, the individual who shares tactically distinguishes. When everyone is broadcasting their reflections and sentiments, the individual who retains some enigma becomes captivating. Regulated disclosure is concerning being deliberate with your personal intelligence. It is concerning comprehending that not everyone requires to comprehend everything about you, and that selective sharing can genuinely strengthen your associations and augment your sway. Let us commence with the psychology behind this. Humans are instinctively curious beings.
When we encounter something incomplete or enigmatic, our intellects automatically attempt to complete the voids. This is designated the incusativeness void, and it is one of the most potent psychological influences in human conduct. When you practice regulated disclosure, you generate incusativeness voids that induce individuals more intrigued by you and more attentive to what you do share. Contemplate the most enthralling individuals you comprehend. They presumably do not disclose everything to you. They share sufficient to maintain you absorbed, but they abandon you desiring to comprehend more. This is not accidental, it is tactical. Now, let us discuss functional applications. In professional environments, regulated disclosure signifies being discerning regarding which concepts you share and when you share them. It signifies not disclosing all your capabilities at once. It signifies retaining some of your understanding in reserve so you can furnish value when it is most required. For illustration, instead of demonstrating all your aptitudes in the initial week of a new occupation, you might disclose them progressively over duration. This generates the impression that you are continuously growing and enhancing, rather than an individual who culminated prematurely.
In societal circumstances, regulated disclosure signifies not articulating your entire existence narrative to everyone you encounter. It signifies sharing personal intelligence progressively as associations evolve and confidence is acquired. This does not signify being clandestine or deceitful. It signifies being discerning and tactical regarding what you disclose and to whom. In discussions, regulated disclosure signifies not disclosing all your priorities and constraints initially. It signifies retaining some intelligence in reserve so you can employ it tactically as the discussion evolves. The essential principle is this: intelligence disclosed can never be undisclosed. Once individuals comprehend something regarding you, they cannot unknow it. Therefore, it is preferable to miscalculate on the aspect of disclosing too little rather than too much. Yet regulated disclosure extends beyond merely withholding intelligence. It is also concerning timing. The identical fragment of intelligence can possess entirely diverse impacts depending on when it is disclosed. For illustration, disclosing a specific aptitude or accomplishment prematurely in an association might appear as boasting, but disclosing the identical intelligence subsequently when it is pertinent to resolving a problem causes you to appear humble and beneficial. Regulated disclosure also involves comprehending your audience. Diverse individuals required to comprehend diverse matters regarding you. Your level of revelation should correspond with the association and the circumstance. Your most intimate companions and family members should comprehend more regarding you than your casual acquaintances. Your commercial associates should comprehend diverse matters regarding you than your rivals. Your employees should comprehend diverse matters regarding you than your peers. This is not concerning being artificial or manipulative. It is concerning being suitable and tactical with your personal intelligence. Here is another significant facet. Regulated disclosure incorporates managing your digital footprint. Everything you publish online, every commentary you formulate, every photograph you share becomes portion of your permanent documentation. Individuals will formulate opinions regarding you predicated on this intelligence, frequently without ever encountering you. Astute individuals are deliberate regarding their digital existence. They comprehend that their digital character is portion of their comprehensive tactic for how they desire to be perceived and recalled. The objective of regulated disclosure is not to be enigmatic for the purpose of being enigmatic. The objective is to preserve command over your narrative and your associations. When you disclose intelligence tactically, you can direct how individuals perceive you. You can emphasize the facets of your disposition and experience that are most pertinent to your current objectives. You can evade being categorized or stereotyped, predicated on incomplete intelligence.
Yet here is the equilibrium you require to preserve. You desire to share sufficient to construct authentic connections with individuals, but not so much that you forfeit your tactical benefit. The most accomplished individuals comprehend this equilibrium. They are accessible and genuine in their associations, but they are also tactical regarding how much they disclose and when they disclose it.
Let us commence with disputes and disagreements. The majority approach disputes as if they are attempting to prevail in a debate. They concentrate on demonstrating their point, capturing the other individual in inconsistencies, and illustrating their superior understanding or rationale. Yet, conclusion-fixated individuals approach disagreements differently. They inquire, what do I genuinely desire to accomplish from this dialogue? Perhaps they desire to modify the other individual's conduct. Perhaps they desire to reach a compromise. Perhaps they desire to accumulate intelligence regarding the other individual's perspective. Once they are lucid on their desired conclusion, they select their method accordingly. Occasionally, that signifies prevailing in the dispute, but frequently it signifies something entirely diverse. For illustration, if your objective is to modify someone's conduct, demonstrating them incorrect might genuinely backfire. Individuals do not appreciate being incorrect, and they frequently become more obstinate when they sense assaulted. A superior method might be to assist them to reach the correct deduction on their own. If your objective is to preserve a favorable association while addressing a problem, being correct might be less significant than locating a resolution that everyone can accept. This pertains to every domain of existence. In professional environments, conclusion fixation signifies concentrating on what genuinely propels the commerce forward, rather than what causes you to appear astute or significant. It signifies selecting endeavors predicated on their effect rather than their visibility. It signifies formulating determinations predicated on information and outcomes rather than politics and preferences. In personal associations, conclusion fixation signifies concentrating on the wellness and contentment of the association rather than who is correct or incorrect in any specific disagreement. It signifies selecting your conflicts predicated on what genuinely matters, rather than reacting to every minor annoyance. In personal development, conclusion fixation signifies gauging your advancement by authentic outcomes rather than effort or intentions. It signifies being sincere regarding what is functioning and what is not, even when that is uncomfortable. Here is where conclusion fixation becomes genuinely potent. It assists you to evade the trap of appearing occupied without being productive. Numerous individuals mistake activity for accomplishment. They presume that laboring diligently automatically results in favorable outcomes. Yet, conclusion-fixated individuals comprehend that you can labor very diligently on the incorrect matters and arrive nowhere. They are perpetually inquiring, is this activity genuinely propelling me toward my objective, or am I merely remaining occupied to evade the more challenging but more significant labor? This results in what I designate tactical idleness. Conclusion-fixated individuals frequently appear to perform less than others because they are discerning regarding where they place their vitality. They concentrate on the 20% of activities that generate 80% of the outcomes. They are not attempting to be the most diligent laborer. They are attempting to be the most efficacious laborer. This also pertains to learning and aptitude development. Instead of attempting to comprehend everything regarding everything, conclusion-fixated individuals concentrate on developing the specific aptitudes that will possess the greatest effect on their objectives. They inquire, what is the minimum I require to comprehend to accomplish maximum outcomes? This is not concerning being idle or taking shortcuts. It is concerning being tactical and efficient.
Now, here is a significant warning regarding conclusion fixation. It can become ruinous if you lose sight of your principles and associations in pursuit of outcomes. The healthiest method is to be conclusion fixated within ethical boundaries. Your desired conclusions should incorporate preserving your integrity, treating individuals favorably, and contributing positively to the universe surrounding you. When these principles are constructed into your definition of success, conclusion fixation becomes a potent force for benefit.
Another essential facet of conclusion fixation is the readiness to modify course when something is not functioning. The majority become attached to their schemes and tactics, even when those schemes are not generating outcomes. Conclusion-fixated individuals are attached to their objectives, not their techniques. If one method is not functioning, they attempt a diverse method. If one tactic is not efficacious, they develop a new tactic. They are not obstinate regarding how they accomplish their conclusions. They are solely obstinate regarding accomplishing the conclusions themselves. This adaptability renders them remarkably adjustable and resilient. When circumstances modify, they adjust their method. When new intelligence becomes accessible, they modernize their tactic. The ultimate objective of conclusion fixation is to become an individual who consistently accomplishes matters, not an individual who discusses accomplishing matters, not an individual who appears like they're accomplishing matters, an individual who genuinely generates outcomes in the genuine universe. This reputation becomes remarkably precious over duration. When individuals comprehend you as an individual who delivers on your commitments and accomplishes your objectives, they commence bringing you superior opportunities, superior partnerships, and superior problems to resolve. You have merely comprehended the 8 characteristics of shadowed intellect, yet understanding without application is worthless. Select one characteristic that resonated with you the most. For the subsequent 7 days, practice that characteristic in your daily interactions. Do not attempt to command all 8 at once. Concentrate on one. Observe how individuals respond to you differently. Observe how you sense when you approach circumstances with tactical intellect instead of sentimental reactivity. Yet recall what we discussed at the commencement. This authority arrives with accountability. Employ these insights to shield yourself, not to injure others. Employ them to generate superior conclusions for everyone, not solely for yourself. The universe requires more tactically astute individuals who employ their understanding ethically, individuals who can perceive through manipulation and shield themselves and others from it, individuals who can navigate intricate circumstances and locate resolutions that serve the greater benefit. That is the genuine purpose of shadowed intellect, not to become a manipulator, but to become an individual who cannot be manipulated, not to acquire authority over others, but to acquire authority over yourself and your circumstances. The most hazardous individual in any space is the one who possesses nothing to forfeit. Yet the most precious individual in any space is the one who comprehends human psychology and employs that comprehension to enhance everyone's existence. Which variety of individual do you elect to be? If this recording modified how you contemplate intellect and authority, select that approval option. If you desire additional content regarding psychology, tactic, and human conduct, subscribe and activate the notification signal. Deposit a commentary and inform me which of these 8 characteristics do you perceive in the most accomplished individuals surrounding you, and which one are you going to practice initially? Until the subsequent instance, recall genuine intelligence is not merely regarding being astute, it is regarding being sagacious enough to employ your intellect in service of something greater than yourself. Remain tactical, remain ethical, and remain potent.